Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is another episode of the Breakfast Podcast, the Breakfast
Breakfast
Burrito.
Burrito
Just keep it in the podcast, yeah.
is,
So, yeah, my bad for the mistake. This is JC Berdine, your co host, and
and
together with
this
me is.
and this is Luis Bautista, and with a very special guest today is Jill Ross. What's up?
Hi.
Okay,
Hello, LJ.
hello. So the first topic we're going to talk about right now is since Jill is a very artistic person, talk about art. So
So, yes. Jaya, tell us about your portfolio right now. I mean, if you have.
I don't really know how to describe my body of work right now, but I think it talks mostly about my feelings on like the recent happenings,
yeah,
like the coronavirus and the quarantine. Like I'm just, going through my thoughts that I haven't been able to go through because I was busy in school and stuff. So like the quarantine gave me time to like think about these things, but in visual form. Yeah,
so
that's
it's
it.
a like a way for you to vent out your feelings and in your like own
Uh,
form.
yeah. It's like if I can't word something out, I just paint it out, and then somehow something is resolved within me
Mhm.
that I don't know how that works, but it's that's just the effect of painting on me, and that's why I paint a lot.
Oh, so when did you start painting? Or when did you ever realize now, oh, I'm JL, I like painting?
Actually, my first idea of painting ever, the earliest was when my tita, I think she bought me like those kiddie watercolor palettes, the yellow ones, the ones with a lot of circles. Then
What?
I remember painting on Oslo paper, and
Oh,
I painted some flowers. And I remember thinking that they're so ugly. But maybe it's because I still didn't have any experience then looking back. And then there was a huge gap that I didn't really paint anything. It's like that was my earliest memory. Then the next memory that I have of painting is grade 10. I started grade
Oh,
10 with watercolor again. Yeah. And then I didn't really take it seriously at first because it was just a requirement for school. But then somehow along the way that I felt like I can do this for like not really for a living at first, but like
as a
I
hobby.
can keep doing this as a hobby. I like something like another personality aside from like from ACADS because I was mostly an ACADS person at the time.
Yeah.
And so like I gradually transitioned from watercolor to gouache. I was using gouache for a majority of the time, especially in senior high school. And then
I'm
gouache is like
sorry. Well,
oh,
what's gosh?
Gosh.
gouache is like a more opaque watercolor because watercolor is very
Oh,
transparent kasi. Yeah.
yes.
So it's not like
So
oil. It's not like the oil paints.
yeah, it's not like oil. Like gouache and watercolor are both water based. Yeah.
Is
So
this
like
gosh?
oh I think oh, yeah that I made you that, diba? I
Yeah,
think I think that's gouache, yeah.
amazing. So for our listeners, like a segue, little, I'm holding right now and showing them a little painting JL made for me when you were in grade 11. I just found it recently and I'm actually planning on framing it because it's
Oh,
so awesome.
it
So
is.
yes, back to you, JL.
Diba, we were roommates. So like,
Yeah, we were.
It's for the retreat.
yeah, diba,
Yeah.
I think you also have one.
Yeah, I think I did. You gave me a letter. Oh, I think it was a separate one. Yeah, I think you gave me one. I remember in one of my containers.
Okay, going back. So in senior high school, I was using mostly gouache, but then I decided to think about the future of my work and then how I want to take it in the future, I guess. And then I realized that most painters use oil, but then I had some doubts because like oil has many things that you have to do and you have to prepare. Like there's this connotation that paint is toxic, and I did some research before making the switch.
Mhm.
And now that I've switched to oil painting, it's the medium I use the most. Yeah,
I see.
like I started using oil paint maybe the summer after grade 11. Yeah.
So
Nice.
it's a transition from like your childhood. You went from watercolor, then like midway through, you had the itch for gouache. Then now, as you're like grown into a more mature artist, a more artist who knows about more things, you've focused more on oil paintings and you've grown accustomed to it.
Yeah, yeah.
I see. It's cool.
It's amazing. Like, I thought you were a prodigy painter. Like,
Hey,
whenever I look at your art, it's so amazing. I believe it takes years and years and years of practice to get there, but I just found out you started in grade 10.
same. I was surprised.
Would you consider yourself a late bloomer or something?
I mean, definitely yes, because like I know people who started like since childhood pa, and then
Wow.
I started it out of the blue basically, and then I just found out now I enjoyed it, so I just stuck with it.
Amazing. Oh, and like, I just want to honestly flex to people right now that this guest right now, he studies at UP Fine Arts, right? Yes.
Yeah.
And you were supposed to go abroad, but what happened, JL? Oh yeah, where did you pass pala? In universities abroad.
US.
Well, I don't know. I got into university, the major ones, you know.
Flex it, bro.
The first thing that comes to mind when it comes to art school, I probably passed it if you know about it. Yeah.
Say him, name it all, list it.
Go
Nah,
lang.
I won't. But like,
Oh,
I didn't go because it just made more sense to stay here. Because like, syempre, going to another environment would introduce me to other things that I think would challenge me. Not in a bad way. I don't mean that in a bad way, but like if you're gonna go to art school, most of your time has to be dedicated towards making good art.
Yeah.
And you don't and for me, if I was going to go abroad, there would be a lot of
Factors.
challenges for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it would prevent me to like do what I want. Like I want to make art like oh my god. I'm sorry. So
that's
Okay.
fine.
Oh wait. So it's like, do you even have family in the United States? No.
yeah, I have family naman, yeah.
But you think it would be easier for you to like focus on your stuff when it's here?
Yeah, yeah. So like overall, parang sayang yung opportunity, but it's okay kasi in the long run, staying here
Mhm.
would be the best option.
Of course, yes, thank you.
It's good.
This country needs you, bitch.
Speaking of UP Fine Arts, um, how many were like accepted? Like for in your batch, for example, just the Fine Arts College.
Well, I don't know exactly how many people are in our batch, but like, wait, let me do. Wait, I'm
Wait,
counting our sections
Max.
right now.
Oh,
W X Y Z.
Wow, counting using alphabets. That's amazing.
We have like 6 sections in our batch yata or 7. Then there's like 20 people in each section, so like that's around 120 to 140
that's so
minimum.
small. It's like
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
you know the acceptance rate of the art school in UP?
What? I'm
Would
sorry,
you
I didn't
know
get that.
the acceptance rate?
I'm not entirely sure, but like, kasi in fine arts, you enter fine arts two ways. Then the first way is when you pass the UPCAT, and then the second one is through the talent test if you don't pass
Mm.
the UPCAT. And then for our batch, were only 11 of us passed the UPCAT. Then the rest, they entered fine arts through the talent test.
It's like 0.012% of the people
We did
pass.
the
Yeah, I did the math. And just a rough estimate, but that's like a really low percentage. So, like, you're part of a really, really group of talented people. So, it's cool.
Yeah.
I'm so proud.
Same.
Anyways, like, since it's UP, right? And there have been like so many esteemed profs that are, some of them have been national artists. Do you have any national artists who are professors?
I'm not sure kasi I'm a Viscom major kasi visual communication.
Okay.
And then our profs are separate from the studio arts people, the ones under painting and sculpture. Like most of our national artists came from the painting and sculpture department and not
Mm-hmm.
we have some naman from our department, but most of them are like, dead na already, passed away.
Oh,
Really?
yeah. Rip.
Sorry. Rip.
So like I'm not really sure if we have any existing in within our department, pero they may not be uh national artists in our painting and sculpture and our visual communication department, but like I'm sure that most of our profs are like very esteemed and very awarded in their own ways.
Yeah, this is like kind of off topic, but it's still about art, and the listeners probably won't relate to it. Pero what happened to that painting thingy you did nung buwan ng wika, grade 12? The one that was displayed in front of the classroom.
Is
The
this the
guy
Sabrina?
lying down.
Oh, the guy lying down.
Oh, that was a girl.
Oh, it was a girl.
But anyways, for context, I made a giant mural on paper for a classroom decorating contest for one of
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
We won that.
What happened to it?
I threw it in the
Oh
trash.
my god.
Why?
That was so pretty.
It was
When
genuine.
you were painting it, I was asking you, can I buy it after? And you said,
Oh,
I don't know.
Oh
like
man.
I don't really feel attached to it, so that's why.
Oh.
See.
And I don't know. I mean, I think I was the one who threw it out pa mismo. Yeah.
Damn it, that breaks my heart. Okay.
So you don't have an attachment to like your artwork, or it depends on the content.
I don't really have an attachment to most of my works. Like I'm just I'm just here for the process of like making art, not really for the sake of having art that I made. It's like
Oh,
I
okay.
already have some people who want to buy some of my paintings, and I don't feel bad about giving them away because
You made it.
I made like it's it's just gonna stay here at home. Parang no one else is gonna see them. It's like it's gonna be better for me if someone else has them and someone else looks at them.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
like if someone buys them, so a lot more people will be able to view them.
Yeah.
Like off of my like without looking at my Instagram or looking at my website.
Yes.
It's like a exposure, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
Oh wow, I actually want to buy one.
The
Okay.
client already.
Yes.
Speaking of. Oh no, I'm sorry.
So it has we've been talking a lot about art. What else are you into? Like when you're not painting, what are you doing?
Oh no.
Oh
I don't have
no.
personality anymore. I'm just kidding. Pero lately, like if I'm not painting, which barely happens. It's either I just read a book or two, and then if I don't paint, it's still art related, but I experiment with Photoshop and Illustrator. Yeah, because it's
Mm.
part of my major for second year.
Now put in.
It's gonna
What
be purely digital now for second year onwards. Yeah.
What do you think about TikTok?
Well, I mean, it's a nice platform because it's something that I feel like art-wise, it's a nice way to like connect like artists and non-artists. You get what I mean? Because I feel like it's not just like Snapchat where you just make something in the moment. You can have the opportunity to like create to manufacture something and put it out there for people to see. And yeah, I know that some TikToks that like what I send you is like very questionable, but like
Yeah.
I really appreciate those TikToks that the people put time and effort into editing those vertical videos.
It's like they have their own type of humor that like
Yeah, yeah.
you understand. Yeah. So, Jill,
Yeah.
besides, surfing the web and painting, is that all you do?
Well, like I mostly listen to podcasts basically.
Wow.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
is
what
that?
podcast?
Oh, sorry.
Like it's not really a podcast per se, but like I love listening to Stephanie Sue on YouTube.
Is she the mukbang artist who
Yeah,
eats? Yeah.
yeah. She's a
Oh, tell us
mukbanger.
about her.
But like most of the things she talks about are like true crime stuff. Like I really like true crime stuff, especially like it started with the BuzzFeed Unsolved.
Unsolved, yes.
Uh,
Then I just transitioned into Stephanie Sue. And then she just recently started a podcast, and those podcasts are like way longer than her YouTube videos.
mm,
And like aside, what got me into Stephanie Sue is that aside from her being in the background while I paint, like she has a very nice storytelling skill. Like you'll be able to listen to her for hours talaga.
I see. So
Yeah.
she doesn't. She doesn't just eat food. She also has like a really nice storytelling voice. And oh, thank you
Yeah.
for another podcast I can listen to.
Wow.
Cool. So like you go through, as you know, Stephanie seems like a big YouTube star. Do you like browse through YouTube a lot?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's all that's a major thing that I do if I don't paint.
Same. Yeah. Do you? Because sometimes a jail sends me like random things online, and it's
Yeah,
funny.
same.
Like, do you get them from the recommended, or do you just search weird stuff?
Mostly recommended, yeah.
It's
But like
weird. Yeah, sorry. What?
what?
Oh,
No,
Anything say?
what?
no, because I get stuff from my recommended so much, and some of them are really really weird, but they're really really deep weird stuff, and it's funny. And I think that YouTube has filled the void in me that's into weird funny stuff. Not in the
Mhm.
weird way, just weird funny. Yeah. How
like
about you
like
guys?
what kind of videos?
Like there's this one
What's your favorite channel? Sorry.
oh no, I don't have a favorite channel. It's just there's these like certain videos that they're like 30 seconds long, and it's either a clip of a TV show with really funny stuff edited, or there was one of a video of a Japanese commercial. Tapos it's about bubblegum. Tapos,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really weird. There's this white guy that comes out of the screen. He's not white. It's like he's painted white. He's dripping with white paint, and Out
Yeah.
out of his mouth comes the bubble gum in the wrapped form. So it's like those funny weird stuff I see. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's weird.
Also special shout out because there's this like super cut. Oh, do you know Community?
Yes.
Do you know
Mhm.
Annie from
Mm-hmm.
Community? So there was
Your
someone who,
crush.
yeah, my crush. So Annie, so they compiled all her gasps, and all her screams into one. So
Uh-huh.
it's really fun to
That's
just
weird.
listen to it.
Oh my god, okay. It's cool.
It's cool. It's cool. How about you, JC? How have you interacted with the medium that is YouTube?
Honestly, I'm not much of a YouTube guy. But if there were, it was my childhood. I was one of the first viewers of Video Game High School, VGHS. Do you know that?
No.
It's a YouTube series, and they're just high school people, and then their high school apparently is a video. Yeah, yeah, self-explanatory.
It's good.
So yun.
Pretty cool.
Then, oh, that's one of my best accomplishments. Do you guys
Wow.
know Passion Pit?
Yeah? Bad.
Wait, oh god, I forgot the title. Yung ten, 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 ten. You know that song?
No.
Oh my
No,
god, it's the
never.
Kindred album,
Not
Heartstrings. Don't take me. Oh god. Okay, anyway, yeah. I was a huge fan of Passion Pit in 2014
oh,
or whenever that album was released. And I was part of the first 100 views. And
wow.
right now, I think it's in the tens of millions now. So yeah.
What an achievement.
And aside from that, I have my own YouTube channel. I just make weird videos, and most of them are actually with my friend Bao.
Yeah, we're cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Jail, do you have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, but like I don't really use it anymore. Not planning to be an
I
influencer
I
anytime
see.
soon.
I mean, you can
Oh
be,
yeah.
though. He has the ability to.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if Jail was an influencer. What would he do?
Use code JL for
Fashion.
10% off.
Actually.
Oh, you know, JL, my family knows you. They know you by the identifier as the guy who matches with his Starbucks drink
What?
because they saw that snap you'd once took. You were carrying a pink drink and you were wearing a pink fur coat.
Is this in Korea?
Yeah, or Japan or Korea, yeah.
Oh,
So yeah, they basically think you're an influencer because of your fashion.
I mean, he is, though. Low key. Super influencer vibes. Oh, JL, speaking of Korea, can you tell us about the nails you got from Korea?
oh yeah. Speaking of, I actually got them a
Yes.
year ago. So like I don't know what was on my mind last year, but like I just wanted to have nails because the rationale that I had was that I'm not gonna paint for a while because I'm gonna be in Korea.
Mhm.
So why not have nails? You
Uh-huh.
know,
Yeah.
like
Mm-hmm.
so like I went on Instagram and searched like nail art, hashtag nails, and I saw this very cute design that had gems in it.
Ooh,
Mm.
interesting.
Like and then I will if I was not going to pursue that option, I the other option was going to be a pink holographic nail.
Wow.
But not really holographic, more of metallic. It has
How
like a sheen
does
to it.
what does holographic nail look like? Is it hover?
When you
What?
shine a light through it, like the reflective light is gonna be pastel colors instead of like just a pure
Oh,
white.
Whoa. I see.
amazing.
I'm not sure if I'm correct, but whatever. But anyways, I
Yes.
ended up with the with the with the gem, the one with the gems. And then it was a really surreal experience because it was my first manicure ever,
Uh,
and
Mm-hmm.
I was in
it's a weird
Korea.
one. Yeah, because it's not acrylic, it's gel, and I also had extensions on me.
Mm.
like gel extensions. And it was a very weird experience because like your nails are longer than usual. I mean, mine were not long enough naman that I'm not sure how I would wipe my ass or anything like
I was
that.
gonna ask about that, but yes, do go on.
Like, yeah, it's very weird because I can still remember like my nails. Like I'm gonna tap them against the wall, and I would feel the gems like hit the wall through my fingers.
It's a different feeling it gives.
Yeah, it's a very different feeling. It's like the gems, the rough gems are a part of you, and you can almost feel like
Mm.
So
every
nice.
stone that is part of you. And like, and what shocked me the most about it was that the price. It gave me a heart attack essentially.
Okay.
Like, I did not know anything about the price of nails or how to get them done. Like, I did not think that it was gonna be that expensive, but
Oh well.
I think I should have gotten it done in here na lang in the Philippines instead of Korea.
How much was the price gap ba?
It was around 5 digits in Philippine peso.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
Wait, let me count. Oh my god, wow.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
like I could have done like fewer fingers with gems, and then the rest were like regular lang,
Yeah.
like or the holographic. That could have been cheaper. But then
Nah.
again, it's like a once in a lifetime experience to like
Yeah.
have those kinds of nails. And I think I'm never gonna repeat it again soon. I mean,
Oh.
maybe in a few years, maybe
Yeah.
again, but like
Maybe when you
not
have your
anytime in the next 5 years.
maybe when you
No.
have your artist money. Yeah.
I would have those like all the time.
So like how do they grow off? Like eventually diba your nails grow, then you
Yeah.
have to remove it at some point. How does that work?
Well, actually, I did not know how to remove them. Like I had to consult pa with like my local nail spa how to deal with it. Because sometimes kasi you have to remove it with the help of a nail tech. But
Mm.
they said na I can just make do with acetone. So like I soaked my nails with
Oh,
acetone. Yeah. And then it just came off. I think I still have the
the
nails
gems.
there somewhere.
Okay.
I
So you
didn't throw
could
it away.
so you could still like use it next time. Or just like
Yeah,
have it
possibly.
you can
Possibly.
have it for like just one finger or two fingers.
Yeah.
Uh,
I feel like I want to do it, but like that's unhygienic, I think.
Maybe. Speaking of hygiene, I was really meaning to ask how. Like how do you poop?
with the nails.
With the nails.
Yeah.
I mean bidet. I mean Korea was not really a toilet paper country. Like they have very advanced toilets. So like I'm thankful
Did
for
they?
that.
The buttons and stuff.
Yeah, with the buttons. Yeah.
Do the buttons also dry it?
I
They
think yeah,
blower.
I
Oh, that's
Oh
think
wow.
cool. That's cool.
Nice.
Speaking of nails and stuff, how have you like how has been cheating like do we have artwork on canvas? Because
mhm.
JL has some clothing that he made for prom and other things.
Yes.
how do
So
you treat
iconic.
how do you treat the artwork on the canvas versus the art from like wearable stuff?
Well, I don't really see a difference between like my wearable art and like my painting on canvas. Just that for me, I think that more people would appreciate the paintings on canvas in the long run. And then for my wearable slash sculptural works, I think it's more for a unique audience. I feel like not everyone's gonna appreciate what I make
We
with
do.
with clothes, yeah. But like I feel like but those wearable things are what make me unique in a way, aside from like my own perspective and how I paint. Like it adds another
Mm.
dimension to my body of work. Yeah. And I haven't really done like wearable art recently, but I think I'm gonna get back into it soon. So yeah.
I'd love to see.
What can you say is the weirdest medium you've ever done or tried?
Probably modeling clay.
Mm.
Because if for
Oh.
I had an assignment for school, now we had to make a sculpture out of clay, and I thought now I was gonna be making the sculpture with like like the same clay that they used for pottery, but like we're gonna make it with like kids modeling clay. Like I had an episode in Feb or January that I just bought a giant stack of modeling clay from National Bookstore. Like mga
Oh.
15 boxes.
Oh my
Because
god.
I'm just carrying them on the way to school. Yeah.
Is that only for you or for everyone?
It's only for me.
So how big was the model?
It was it's about the size of my head. Yeah.
Wow.
Kasi
Oh.
like we're gonna place the clay on like a life-size version, a cast of our heads. We made it ourselves then for school. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's amazing.
So what makes modeling clay so weird? Is it the texture? Is it the smell?
I think it's just the connotation only kid. Not it's only for kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then like now that I'm in college, a full grown adult na okay, there's still some possibilities aside from like making like not so realistic stuff.
So like I'm just curious, what happens to the artworks that you need to submit for grades? Do you get to bring it home or
Actually, we need to keep it for the duration of the semester because there's gonna at the end of the semester there's gonna be like a critique of like the work you've made, and like
Oh,
your prof wants to see my prof wants to see the development I've made throughout the semester. So basically we have to keep it.
oh,
But even though the semester has ended, we don't really have to keep it anymore, but like we still want to because when you're grown up already, when you've matured as an artist, you want to look back at where you came from so that you can look towards more possibilities
so it's
on how to make more work. Yeah.
sentimental value because they're still
Yeah.
attached now.
so where do you physically store it? I think it's gonna be a lot, right?
Yeah, it's a lot. Pero most of my works from school are mostly works on paper lang. So like I have a
Oh,
giant and
okay.
course them. Pero for my paintings, they're just stacked up here. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
So
But
like
then,
that's why I don't really mind having buyers then for my work kasi it's also
Mm.
frees up some space.
Do
that's
you
good.
hear that, dear listeners? I mean, if we have.
Oh yeah, you have a website, right? You can plug it.
Yeah. Oh, it's my name lang. It's lorenzorojas.com. Give it a visit. Send me
Wow.
an
Yes.
email.
Wait, di ba
Can
you're?
we attach it to the.
I will.
Sorry. Yeah, thank you.
We will attach. You're a Viscom major, so I think your website applies some of the stuff you've learned, right?
Yeah. But my work mostly features paintings pa lang. But then but I already have an unpublished page in my website that I'm gonna publish soon when I have enough work that's related to graphic design.
Ooh.
Like I don't really post my graphic design work on Instagram. But, I feel like it's not the appropriate place or space for it to be published there. Yeah.
So as a Viscom major, do you design stuff on Photoshop or is it like everything is through like the computer now?
I mean, it's not really. It's part of what we do in our major, but like it's not limited to like just Photoshop or the rest of Adobe Creative Cloud.
Mhm.
Parang they didn't really name the program graphic design or like illustration or like advertising because
Visual.
it's basically a combination of all of those things. And I think that the school doesn't want us to limit what we can do. So like looking at the yearly thesis exhibitions, like a lot of people do different things. Like a lot of people do illustrated children's books. A lot of people also do like typography stuff. A lot of people also do like ad campaigns.
Marami.
Yeah, yeah, it's a very diverse community, and like I don't know what to specialize in yet with my major. Like, there's no specific tracks naman, but like I don't know what to major in yet because I have a lot of interests kasi in that major. That's why I signed up for it in the first place. So I don't know yet.
It's fine. But you're most probably headed for a corporate job or something.
Yeah, parang I know na I'm gonna be a painter, like a full-time painter. Like it's not a 9 to 5 job, but like I also want to dabble,
Delve
No,
into.
immerse myself
Right.
in the corporate world. So I find working with teams interesting, especially when it comes to making creative solutions or like making
Wow.
something. So I enjoyed it from like from previous experience such as Senta, our
Yeah.
the
Our concert.
fundraising
fundraiser
that
concert.
we organized back in high school, and from when I was in JMA, acting for JMA, we also had to like come up with an event, and I really enjoyed the process of coming up with something like that.
Is that why you selected? Because JL passed ME. So is it like similar to that?
I mean, looking back at it, parang ME is like a more it's a more broad way of getting things, of doing
Creative solutions.
creative solutions. It's just that Viscom gives me a more focused approach to like I'm heading straight into creatives na talaga. Pero all in all, parang it's it's still about maintaining relationships with the people you work with, and I think Viscom will prepare me more for that.
Oh, it's nice.
I
I'm
have a
running out
question.
of energy.
I have a question because right, it's weird because you said the Viscom is separate from the painters and the sculptors. Like, is there like a distinction between both?
Yeah, parang in the College of Fine Arts, they offer visual communication, painting, sculpture, art history, and art education, and industrial design.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
so what's the difference between Viscom and industrial design?
Basically, Viscom is 2D, and then industrial design or ID, it's more on
2D.
3D stuff. Yeah,
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, thank
It's
you.
like Archie? Or no?
kind of like Archie, but like
It's still different.
separate. Yeah,
Yeah. See, so there are like so many disciplines under fine arts.
yeah,
You get to dabble in painting and sculpting too as a physical major and industrial design, I think, at some point, right?
yeah. Like I have a lot of electives for my third and fourth year.
I see. That's cool. What do you think about the art scene in the Philippines?
Well, I'm
Have you,
not really acquainted with the Philippine art scene. I'm more acquainted with like the art scene abroad. But
what you
from
know?
going to from going to like art fair and like in Makati, parang there's a lot of work to be excited about from from my fellow peers, from my
Mhm.
fellow
Yeah.
Wow.
contemporary artists. Like, given our history of art, parang we've created like, I don't want to say boring, but like I don't want to say boring
Same.
in a
The
bad
same.
way.
Similar.
Um, sorry, but like seeing the art at art fair makes me realize that we've come a long way from our past, and our artists, our contemporary artists have done a lot to make sure that our art is has evolved, has progressed, and I think that's very exciting. And there's a lot to be looked forward to in the future. Yeah.
What do you? Who's your like overall the favorite artist you admire? You don't strive. I mean like just favorite artist. Sorry.
Favorite artists.
Yeah.
The things that come to mind, the artists that come to mind are Chloe Wise and Sasha Gordon.
Are they
And
painters?
yeah, they're painters primarily. And then Chloe Wise's work talks about advertising and social norms, like the effect of like social media on people,
Oh.
something about that. And she portrays like issues with like consumerism in like a very humorous way. So that's why her work resonates with me, because her figures, like she paints people like realistically, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, as we see them. And she has a very distinct way of like portraying people and the advertising world. So like that really caught with me. And then on the other hand, for Sasha Gordon, she has a really distinct color palette and a distinct way of rendering people. And that's what caught my eye when I first saw her work on Instagram. I think uh, a peer of mine reposted her work on an IG story, and it caught my eye. And then I followed her instantly when I saw her profile.
Is she popular? Like, is she really well renowned in the art world?
Louis Wise is popular. Like, she's like verified on Instagram. And then Sasha
Oh,
Gordon, she just graduated from RISD, Rhode Island School of Design. Pero she's well on her way to become famous. Yeah.
it's nice.
What do you think about old paintings? Like they're like the ones that have been like auctioned for hundreds of millions of dollars. The ones that are in Louvre or in many museums around the world.
The major thing that I can see with those paintings is that most of them have like very neutral colors. Like most of the colors that you can see in those paintings are like skin tones, like beige, like flesh colors, or like browns, blacks, or whites,
They
or
don't scream
grays,
at
and
you.
other neutral colors. Like I really don't want to emulate that in my work. Like I always go for the more colorful paints. Like I don't know, I feel like it would be more boring for me to create it because
It's already been
I'm
made.
yeah, like the process, it's more like visually appealing to me. Like there's something new that my eyes see every time that I work with a colorful painting compared to like a painting that's filled with neutral colors. But like I understand the situation of the artists at the time, because maybe the colors that I used didn't exist yet during their time, or
Mm-hmm.
like um or those colors didn't exist yet. Oh wait, I just said what I said, but anyway.
Yeah, again. it was inaccessible for artists to have like different kinds of paint. So
Yeah.
So, since you mentioned color, do you have a favorite color, JL?
Right now, it's probably pink.
pink.
Pink, like you use it for painting?
Yeah, but I haven't been using it lately. Like, I use it not as a main color. Like, I use it like to mix with other colors. But like, my next paintings are gonna have a splash of pink with them, definitely.
Is it a specific shade of pink? Like, does it have a weird numbered name?
Is it salmon or something?
Yeah. It's named Quinacridone Opera by Holbein.
Oh.
Wow, big words.
Who's O'Bine? Is that a person
Oh,
or a
Holbein
company?
was also a person. He was also a painter, and it's also a brand that sells paints. Yeah.
Oh,
Amazing. Okay.
It's my I don't know. There's just something about it because it's so vibrant and it's so I don't know. It just screams my name basically.
Mm, yes. JL in pink.
really
And
nice.
that's
And
how
then
my
if I'm
family
not
knows you too. Yeah.
then if I'm not using pink, it's probably blue. Like I have 7 types of blues that I have.
Wow.
They're
Oh,
all
tell us
separate.
about your blues.
Like I have ultramarine blue, cobalt blue, manganese blue.
Wow.
What else?
I'm looking
Prussian
forward.
blue.
Russian blue. Hey, Bob Ross.
I don't know the other ones. I forgot. Pero I have a turquoise kind of blue, a Payne's gray, and it's technically not a blue, but it's violet, dioxazine violet.
Wow.
Mm.
Oh.
And I don't know why I have a lot of these. I just ended up with them like in my 2 years of painting. Three, yeah, 3 years of painting.
So do you think that the art supplies you use is as important as the art itself?
Yeah, I think because the color for me it's what makes me stand out from other artists, I believe, because I take a lot I do a lot of research into like pigments and colors and like um there's just something about pigments and color pigments that they have a life of their own outside of paintings. Like they
Mm-hmm.
have their own histories, their own specific histories. Like ultramarine blue, it's first started like it came from lapis lazuli. It's a gemstone that came from Afghanistan. Like
Minecraft.
yeah, it came from Afghanistan. Then uh they had to make synthetic versions of those because it's very rare and it's very expensive. So like whenever I use ultramarine blue in my paintings, well, it's not like a genuine like ultramarine blue. It's synthetic. But like whenever I use an ultramarine blue, like I use it and think of the history, like oh okay, parang even if I fill a entire canvas with blue, like it still has something to talk about, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then another example would be my cadmium colors. I have like genuine cadmium pigments, and then cadmiums are very
Oh,
special because they may or may not be cancerous. So
Oh
like if
no.
I get cancer in the future, you already know what it is.
Wait, I'm sorry. What's cadmium as in the
the element.
element? Wait, is that an
Yeah,
element?
cadmium yellow, cadmium orange, cadmium green. There's also I
How
think
come
cadmium
it's
violet.
cadmium?
What?
How come
I'm
it has
sorry.
the cadmium in the name? Like, does it
Oh,
come from the
because
element?
yeah, it comes from the element, I think, and it's a very I don't know science anymore, but like it's a very heavy metal.
Mm.
Like if you process it in a specific way, it's supposed to be carcinogenic.
Oh
And
shit.
sometimes on the oil paint tubes that I have that are genuine cadmium, they like put like those dangerous symbols on the tubes to remind them that it might be cancerous, pero
Mm.
it's not really cancerous like if you get it on your hand. Like I believe that you won't get cancer, but like you just have to wash it off immediately. But like I believe that paint manufacturers have come a long way to like make things safer.
Safer. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's synthetic versions din naman that are available that don't use any harmful ingredients.
Wait, so the cadmium it just gives a different color and pigment. That's why they use
Yeah,
it. I see.
yeah.
Speaking of, wait, one more. So it's when you analyze paintings, I think I've learned a new way to analyze them because you talked about history. So, like for example, if I'm gonna look at a painting of someone and I'm gonna see this specific pigment, so maybe they have another meaning that they're talking about when they use this specific pigment to like talk about the history of something. For example,
Yeah, like what I've mentioned earlier, ultramarine blue.
yeah.
Since it's a very rare and expensive pigment to use, like they only reserved it for painting images of the Virgin Mary.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh.
Like if you see a Virgin Mary painting an old from an old painting, they probably used ultramarine blue for it. Yeah.
So amazing.
that's a
And
new
then
totally art.
Van Gogh was like one of the first people to use the cadmium pigments. Yeah.
The what
Mm.
gave them this certain color.
Yeah.
Have you ever critiqued the Mona Lisa in class?
Well, we only talked about it in art history class. Pero one major thing that I can point out with the Mona Lisa is that it only became famous because it was stolen. But before it was stolen, it wasn't really something to look. It wasn't really something to look at or like to stop for or like to see it in Paris, like stop by it in Paris in the Louvre. But like you can really see like the effect of marketing in the painting. So yeah, there's a lot of factors that influence what makes a painting popular. Yeah,
So, like, history when dealing with art is a big deal, do you think?
yeah, very big deal.
Evidence.
Provenance.
Yeah.
Okay, as I think JC wants to say a few things.
Oh yeah, it's tradition before we end every episode that we try to relate everything we talked about to a breakfast burrito. Because yeah, honestly, Bao and I haven't eaten a breakfast burrito,
Nope.
and it would be nice if we created our own ideas of a breakfast burrito. So
Okay,
yeah, I
so
guess it's yeah.
I'll start. So I think we talked about what did we talk about this?
Art.
Art, you know,
Art.
everyone, it's sculpting. There, it's related to art. So I think when you create a breakfast burrito, you sculpt it. You know, you look at the little details. For example,
Yes.
the salt and the pepper and all of the ingredients come together to make this perfect sculpture slash breakfast burrito. Right? You see?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Jill? Like,
Well,
what
since
else?
we talked about history and like how using certain colors has an influence on what can make an image. I feel like when we use like particular ingredients in burritos, it's like those BuzzFeed worth it videos
Yeah.
in the most expensive
Yes.
restaurants. Like they
Yeah.
most of the times they use like gold leaf or like caviar or truffle to like
Mhm. Make it more expensive.
put in the
Mm-hmm.
food to make it more expensive. So like you could put like gold leaf or like the same ingredients that I mentioned in a breakfast burrito to like say something, but like it doesn't mean that if you don't have those ingredients, it doesn't mean that it's worthless or something. It can still be appreciated by people who are maybe not into who maybe are not into those things. Yeah.
How about
Okay,
you, JC?
well, on the lighter side of what we talked about in this podcast, we mentioned the weird videos we find on YouTube. And I honestly would want to watch someone. Oh, it's mukbang. Oh
Mukbang.
God,
Full
breakfast
circle.
burrito mukbang.
I think there is though.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna look for one right after this. Yeah, I think that's it. And then also, we usually believe that at this point, maybe a lucky one would still be listening. And then, so yes, if you're still listening out there, I would just like you to type down cadmium on the comment section. And if we see that comment, you have a very special gift from us.
Yes.
Probably a hug, but yes.
Oh, by the way, JL, do you have any shout outs before we end?
My Instagram and my
Yes.
website. We'll leave
Okay.
it down below.
We'll leave it down below. Yes, we will. Anyone for any people, that might be listening, might listen to this podcast. No?
Hi,
No.
March.
Soon.
Hi, March. Yeah, that's it. Okay.
Yep, that's it.
Anyways, thank you for anyone who's listening to this podcast. I hope you listen to the next one. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for inviting me.